and Commanding Officer for Area 5, Mr. Brian Clark, Counselor of the Waterhouse Division, representing His Worship the Mayor of Kingston, Councillor Andrew Swaby, Reverend Father Can Honeygan, Rector of the St. Jude's Anglican Church, Honorable Ian Forbes, Custos Rotolorum of the Parish of St. Andrew, Dr. Patricia Dunwell, Custos Emeritus of St. Andrew, Mr. Delroy Simpson, Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of National Security, and other members of staff from the Ministry of National Security, Mr. Randy Sweeney, Superintendent of Police, Area Commander, and other officers of the JCF, Mr. Martin Miller, Managing Director of the National Housing Trust, and other members of the NHT team, Mrs. Arlene McBean, President of the Jamaica Police Federation, and other representatives of the Jamaica Police Federation, Ms. Joan Gordon Webley, candidate for West Rural St. Andrew, other members of the community, contractors and engineers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my honor to welcome you informally to this momentous occasion, the official opening of the Stony Hill Police Station. But to begin the proceedings on the right footing, I now invite Reverend Can Honeygan, the rector of the St. Jude's Anglican Church in Stony Hill here, to lead us before the Lord in prayer.
Let us pray. To you, O Lord, we give glory, honor, and praise as we are gathered here for this special occasion to open this wonderful place of justice, this place where people will find peace, this place where people will find reconciliation, this place where people will see hope, hope for fairness, that every member of this community will celebrate on this day the opening of this place. We pray, Lord, that as this celebration, this special occasion begins at this time, we ask for your blessing, for your mighty hand of love, for your spirit of connectivity, brotherhood, joy, love, and peace to reign among this community. And that as we celebrate on this day, the opening of this place, all of us here gathered will leave here feeling a sense of your purpose, being renewed through the minds and the hearts of the people of this land, Jamaica we love. So be with us on this occasion, Lord. Guide us in these proceedings and bless this place. Bless all those who will work here, all those who will visit these doors. May this place become a place that represents your honor and your glory. And to you we pray through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Khan. And now, to officially welcome you, we'll have a word from Mr. Byron Clark, the Counselor for the Waterhouse Division, who is representing His Worship the Mayor of Kingston, Councillor Andrew Swaby. Mr. Clark?
Madam Chairperson, Honorable Dr. Ray Strong, Minister of National Security, Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security and Member of Parliament for this constituency, Custos Rotolorum, Honorable Ian Forbes of St. Andrew, senior officers, other officers, service men and women, other distinguished guests, Mrs. Joan Gordon Webley, Reverend Father Can Ogigan, I greet you well. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to bring greetings on behalf of the Mayor of Kingston, Mayor Andrew Swaby, from the KCMC family to this momentum occasion, the official opening of the Stony Mayor Swaby is unable to attend with us today due to prior commitment. However, he extends his warm regards and congratulations on this significant achievement. Today marks an important step forward in our shared mission to enhance public safety, deepen citizens' engagement, and reinforce the presence of law and order in Stony Hill and neighboring communities. This new facility is a powerful testament to the commitment to equip the Jamaica Constabulary Force with the tools and resources necessary to serve effectively and efficiently. At the KSMC, we are steadfast in our vision for safe, orderly, and thriving communities where children can walk to school without fear, businesses can flourish in peace, and families can enjoy a sense of security in their homes and neighborhoods. This police station is not just a place of enforcement, but a beacon of service, protection, and partnership between the police and the people. To the officers who will serve here, may you wear your uniforms with pride, carry out your duties with diligence, and continue to build trust with the residents of this community. Your daily presence affirms our belief that the rule of law will prevail and that peace and order are achievable goals. On behalf of the KSMC, I extend sincere commendation to all who played a role in bringing this project to fruition. We hope the residents of Stony Hill feel a sense of pride in this new well-appointed facility and that they will do their part in preserving it as a symbol of community strength and unity. Once again, I warmly welcome you all and invite you to share in this proud and historic moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. I am certain the residents of Stony Hill are proud of this facility, the Stony Hill Police Station, and they will certainly play their part in carrying the facility itself and work with the police officers that will operate from this location. Now, this station represents not just what we're seeing here with our naked eyes, but it's a reflection of the strength that has been placed behind the Jamaica Constabulary Force by the Ministry of National Security, and it reflects also one of the pillars of our Vision 2030, which says that we are aiming for a society that is secure, cohesive, and just. And as such, this project here is a partnership between the Ministry of National Security, the National Housing Trust, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It wasn't just designed to offer service to the community here, but it is a purpose-built facility that has everything the officers will need to give effective service from this location to the residents of Stony Hill and the surrounding communities. Now, to tell you a little bit more about the work that went behind making this a reality, I invite to the stage Mr. Alex Bernard, the Assistant General Manager of Construction and Development with the National Housing Trust. Please make him welcome.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. The Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security, the Honorable Judith Cuthbert-Flynn, the NHT executive staff members, members of the JCF hierarchy and project stakeholders, to include Deputy Commissioner Mr. Richard Stewart, residents of Stony Hill and neighboring communities, ladies and gentlemen all, good morning. There's something deeply fulfilling about returning to a place where a journey began, not empty-handed, but with the results of a few years of hard work. In February 2022, we broke ground on this very site with a commitment to deliver a modern facility. Today we are proud to stand here on schedule, delivering not just a building, but a renewed sense of purpose and partnership. Today signifies a decisive investment in the safety, stability, and future of Stony Hill. marked by the official handover of the newly upgraded Stony Hill Police Station. For us at the National Housing Trust, this project is more than just concrete and steel. It's about enhancing the lives of both those who serve and those they serve. When we broke ground on this project, we did so with a clear intent. We knew that building vibrant, sustainable communities requires more than just houses. It requires safe and secure environments where families can thrive and businesses can grow. At the NHT, our vision for housing extends well beyond home ownership. Supporting the development of critical infrastructure, such as modern law enforcement facilities, is essential to that broader mission. During his 2017-2018 budget presentation, Prime Minister Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness announced the construction and refurbishing of police stations program. This was designed to improve the physical facilities and living quarters of the police stations within a 10-mile radius of an existing NHT housing scheme. Since then, the NHT has been actively executing this magnitude, and today we add Stony Hill to the growing list of communities that now benefit from modern, purpose-built facilities. 7 communities have benefited so far from this program, and we also have the Specialized Operations Barracks, or the Mobile Reserve, that has undergone a complete refurbishment and upgrades to 4 barracks. 4 stations are currently at various stages of planning and construction to be added to this pool. To address the needs here at Stony Hill, we demolished the existing buildings and then constructed a new space spanning about 5,400 square feet. The new facility houses administrative areas, living quarters, holding cells, and all the amenities as were aforementioned to sustainably execute and deliver a safe community environment. Understanding the operational costs associated with a facility of this scale, we took deliberate steps to support long-term sustainability. The station, as a result, has been outfitted with solar power generation and rainwater harvesting system, features that not only reduce utility costs, but also reinforce our commitment to environmental responsibility. At every stage, this project was guided by the core principle that security, sustainability, and dignity must go hand in hand. Of course, vision must be matched with execution. With that said, I want to express sincere thanks to our construction teams, stakeholders whose technical expertise brought this vision to life. Special commendations to the Special Project Unit. Their coordination, diligence, and unwavering commitment ensured that this project was delivered on time and to the highest standard. We are represented by this unit today, Mrs. Johnson. I see you here, Stashoon. Not seen you now, saw you earlier. Andrea, I just would like to invite everyone to give a round of applause to the team. To the dedicated men and women of the JCF who will be serving at the station, we salute you. Thank you for your courage and your commitment to duty. We hope this facility will make your service easier, your days more efficient, and your morale even stronger. To the residents of Stony Hill and neighboring communities, this is your station too. Let it be a pillar of trust and a place where dialogue, cooperation, and peace can grow. Together we can build a safer, more connected community, one where everyone feels valued, protected, and proud to call home. May today be a symbol of our continued investment, not just in infrastructure, but in people, safety, and the promise of a better Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Members of the audience, I must say I heard the round of applause go just now, and I wasn't quite pleased with what I was hearing from your end. So we're going to do it again. Do you believe this station looks good? If you believe so, clap. Are you proud of the fact that they have incorporated solar panels into the station? Clap. What about rainwater harvesting? All right, and do you believe that this police station belongs to the people of Stony Hill? I'm not hearing you. Let's try that again. Does this police station belong to the people of Stony Hill? Very good, very good. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Bernard. At this point, we'll take a slight pause for a cultural item, and this will be delivered by a young bright spark from the Stony Hill Primary and Infant School. She is Miss Rochelle Benjamin, and I want you to know a little something about Miss Benjamin. She isn't just a student of the school. She is a JCDC third place or bronze medalist for the 2025 JCDC Poetry Competition. Give her a round of applause for that, man. Yes. So, Miss Benjamin, if you are ready, over to you.
Special Me by Eden Colin Williams. I am special. I am unique. I am loved. Even if I squeak, I don't have to sit and moan. I always feel I belong. When with my group, I sing a song. I feel great in my family and so proud to be a part of this country. I hope you feel as special as me in this land where we all can be free. I am a part of a group, that school. No wonder I try to obey each rule. I would not exchange it for anything. I am special, and what joy to my heart it's bring. You know, see some unique.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. That was beautifully done. Don't you agree? Yes, man. That's a product of Stony Hill Primary and Infant School. Okay. Now, at this time, we will invite the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mr. Richard Stewart, to tell us a little about this police station and how it will benefit not just the residents of Stony Hill and the surrounding communities, but how it will be utilized by the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Mr. Stewart, over to you, sir.
Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, DPM and Minister. Honorable Mrs. Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, State Minister and Member of Parliament. Your Worship, Honorable Ian Forbes, Custos Rotularium of St. Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In a sense, I feel that I should give the slot to the little young lady who had just done the performance, kind of creating a nice, entertaining environment. But it is indeed an honor and privilege standing before you, representing Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, at this, the opening of the Stony Hill Police Station. This is an achievement for the Stony Hill community and a significant milestone for the Jamaica Constabulary Force in its ongoing mission to create a safer and more secure Jamaica. For this, a debt of gratitude is owed to the government, to our minister, for the foresight and commitment to this project, and of course, to the NHT, the implementing agency, and our PMD with internal responsibility. The opening of this station
along with the commissioning and renovation of others, is a testament to the realization of our goal to create an environment that is fit for purpose. This new facility will enhance our partnership by providing citizens with a conducive space to interface with the police, whilst, on the other hand, enabling us to respond even more efficiently. We remain steadfast in our mission to serve, protect, and reassure the people of Jamaica, and recognize that this requires a multifaceted approach where people, quality, and technology are at the very core of what we do. Our officers are our most valuable asset. They stand on the front lines each day to keep our nation safe, sometimes at the expense. Our officers are our most valuable asset. They stand on the front lines each day to keep our nation safe, sometimes at the expense of their very lives. It is therefore reasonable that they be cared for, valued, and supported. When this is done, we will be in a position to serve the public even more efficiently, as is the case now. Ladies and gentlemen, we are already seeing the positive impact of these investments. This year, the St. Andrew North Division has experienced an approximate 37% reduction in murders. Notably, the community of Stony Hill is also benefiting in this downward trend of violent crimes, with marked improvements in public order, reduced incidents of serious offenses, and increased collaboration between residents and the police. The Stony Hill police area is currently experiencing 50% reduction in murders. Six murders were recorded between January 1 to July 30, 2024, compared to 3 for this year, 2025. The presence of this new station will build on this momentum, further strengthening public safety and reinforcing the relationship between law enforcement and the community. Let me take a moment to reassure all Jamaicans that the state of security in the country is stable and steadily improving. While we continue to face complex challenges, strategic investments in modern policing methods, data-driven intelligence, legislative reform, and community partnerships have yielded tangible results. Crime is trending down in several major categories across the country, and citizens are witnessing a more responsive, professional, and engaged police force. Currently, the country is seeing an overall reduction of 16.2% in major crimes. Murders are down by 42.1%, while shootings are down by 34.9%. The Jamaica Constabulary Force remains focused and resolute in its mission to dismantle criminal networks, protect the vulnerable, and restore a greater sense of peace and security across all parishes. To the citizens of Stony Hill, I encourage you to embrace this facility as your own. This is your police station, and your partnership is crucial to its success. We urge you to work hand in hand with our officers to enhance your safety and that of your families. This new police station will serve as a cornerstone of effective policing in this area, and we continue to collaborate for a more secure Jamaica. Again, I re-emphasize to the citizens of Stony Hill and the members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force in particular that this is your police station and your responsibility to ensure its proper care and upkeep, a direct investment, and your responsibility is to ensure its proper care and upkeep, which is a direct investment in the ongoing security of our community. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, DCP Stewart. Ladies and gentlemen, at the core of today is ensuring that our police officers, those who serve and protect, have a safe, dignified, and functional space from which to work. And this new station, which you heard before, spans over 5,000 square feet across 2 floors. All the facilities that are inside and around this police station are all aligned with human rights and sustainability standards internationally. Now, we'll hear a bit from someone who has been an advocate for the residents of this Stony Hill community and those around, those in West Rural St. Andrew, and that person is none other than the Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, the Minister of State in the Ministry of National Security and the Member of Parliament for West Rural St. Andrew. Minister.
A pleasant morning. It's usually a cool morning in West Rural, you know, but we're in the height of summer. And so, you say it's cool? Yeah, the cool hills. So I want to welcome everyone to the cool hills of St. Andrew, West Rural, Stony Hill. Let me say a pleasant good morning once again to my minister, my hard-working minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang. Also, let me say a pleasant welcome to Mr. Richard Stewart, who is who's the Deputy Commissioner of Police of the JCF. Let me say a good morning to Mr. Brian Clark, who is representing the Mayor. Thanks for being here, sir, and bringing greetings. Let me say a pleasant good morning to the Honorable Ian Forbes, who's our Custos. Let me say good morning to a resident of the Stony Hill area, Dr. Patricia Dunwell, Custos Emeritus. Of course, Father Khan Honeygan, who led us in prayer and is always there when we call upon you. Thank you, and I think your fraternal brothers are here as well. So I want to extend a pleasant good morning to them as well. Let me say good morning to Mr. Randy Sweeney, DSP Sweeney. Let me say a pleasant good morning to all the men and women of the JCF in blue this morning. Let me say good morning to the project manager. We can't do without. I see a couple members of the NHF here. Project manager Jacqueline Johnson. I want to say good morning. Let me say good morning to, let me just say, Tasha Schwab, who's the counselor for the Stony Hill Division, is unavoidably absent this morning. But my counselor for the Lawrence Tavern Division, John Myers, is here. Let me say good morning to all the members of the Ministry of National Security team. And also let me say good morning. I know I saw the contractor who I bothered every day passing by. When is the police station going to be ready? Good morning to you. Let me say good morning to all the members of the Stony Hill Division and the surrounding area. And I think there are persons from the Brandon Hill Division because this police station will also serve that area. And so it is really an honor to be here, you know, in front of you in a finished building. You know, there's a saying, vision without action is a dream. And this is not just a dream, this is actually a reality that we're witnessing here today. Today we're here to witness a reality. Today we're here to cut another ribbon. Yes, to showcase a reality. A reality where Our men and our women in uniform who serve the JCF should be treated with dignity. When I won in 2016, I remember coming up and I saw a dilapidated health center. Let me say good morning to the health center workers. I see you here as well. A dilapidated health center, a dilapidated police station. And I lobbied on behalf of the people as far as the health center is concerned. And the government at the time, they were refurbishing health centers. And we see a brand new, nice looking health center next door. And so really proud that that health center is there. I have to say that I lobbied the government because the building, again, as I said, was in need of repair. Fast forward a few years later, the government saw the need to improve police working conditions by modernizing infrastructure. They wanted to bolster the public confidence and enhance community engagement. And you know, I remember I have a son who's 30-something years old. And when we used to travel to Jamaica, I remember us driving on Windward Road, and he was just looking outside the window. And after we passed, he said, boy, this place is broken down. That was the 8-year-old. And that's exactly what I saw here, a broken down police station. And, you know, I want to say that, you know, no one protecting and serving should take a rest break with a ceiling that's caving in. And that is what I saw. And so even though when you walked inside the police station, the old station, when you walked in, it was a tiny little cubby hole. If you turn to the right, turn to the left, you could hardly turn. And when I walked into the barracks area where the policemen and women would rest, take a rest, and I looked up, the ceiling from above was coming down, falling on top of them, basically. And I said, this is no way for any police officer to serve us, serve our country, and to protect us. And so when, of course, we heard about the ROC program, I decided that I would have to lobby on behalf of the residents of Stony Hill. I immediately called at the time, it was Minister Montague. And if anyone, maybe you don't know, upstairs used to be a courthouse, right? And so I lobbied at the time, you know, Minister Chuck and, of course, Minister Montague. And we are here today to witness this beautiful building, this purpose-built for our police officers. This government is committed to providing better infrastructure for all. With this new station, we should have higher morale that should translate into better policing. In 2024, we saw an 18% decrease in the murder rate. But Stony Hill, we saw a few double murders, and as you heard from the commissioner, he is saying to you that we're seeing a decrease in the murder in Stony Hill. We went further and lobbied for the Jamaica Eye. Again, we are building out infrastructure in Jamaica. The Jamaica Eye is in the Stony Hill Square. The Jamaica Eye is in the Golden Spring Square. And you're going to get better policing from our police officers. But I want to also take this moment to urge our young men and our young boys to seize the use of firearm. The police possesses advanced technological capabilities for detection, and they will utilize these resources. The implementation of Jamaica Eye, as I mentioned in Stony Hill, will catch your movements. As I close, I want to thank all the partners involved. I want to thank you, CTD Simpson. Yes, I want to thank you. I know I've bothered you in many meetings. When is the Stony Hill police station going to be ready? And so I want to thank you so much, and all the hard-working team at the Ministry of National Security, and again, as I said, at NHT. To my hard-working Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, you are definitely boss. Thank you for always listening. Today is a big deal for Stony Hill and the Brandon Hill Division where the station serves. of course, Minister, we're going to need more men and women here and more vehicles. Thank you in advance. Today, again, is not just the opening of a building. It is the opening of a new chapter for Stony Hill. A chapter that says we are serious about public safety, we're serious about supporting our police, and we are serious about building strong, resilient communities. And as your member of parliament, and I plan to be here another term, I remain committed to delivering real results and real development to continue that trend. We've come a long way, we have come a far way, and with continued partnership that we see here today, there is so much more ahead. Let us move forward together, united in purpose, grounded in community, and always, always residents choosing progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Cuthbert Flynn. And as you rightly said, we started out on this journey from a point of challenge. The first police station was uninhabitable, and the conditions forced the officers over to a temporary solution across the street here. But we can proudly stand and look at this facility here and be proud of it as a symbol of resilience and partnership. And we can look at it and know that there is no turning back from here for Stony Hill. Indeed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be having a slight modification or change to our program. And at this time, I'd like to invite the gentleman that Minister Flynn calls the big boss, the real big deal, Minister of National Security and also Deputy Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang, to bring his main address.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Begin by my Minister of State and the Member of Parliament that's opened the presentation. She has gone to a little bit of a historical review and might say opening the balance sheet. And one might say that is because the election time, but I think I remind the audience where I speak that election is very much free and fair election, the fundamental part of democracy. And that is at a point in time when you reach the end of a term and not a bad thing to open the balance sheet. But that's what you're doing, a good business. And Jamaica can be proud of that fact. So we can discuss openly issues, especially at this point in time. But let me go ahead and do the recognition of my Minister of State, Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, and the Member of Parliament for this year, Custos, Mr. Ian Forbes. Custos, good to have you today, and the former Custos, Dr. Dunwell, who did very well as Custos in your predecessor, and was here at the groundbreaking for the opening of this particular, for the beginning of the work on this particular station. Councillors from the West Royal St. Andrew here, see Mr. Myers here, sitting very quietly. Roger, the Chief Technical Director from the Ministry of National Security representing the ministry, our Deputy Commissioner of Police, Mr. Richard Stewart, representing the Commissioner, but he has supporting him some very powerful members of the police force, Deputy Commissioner, Commissioner Carol Hood, who is Hoyle Hood, a female Deputy Commissioner. But that doesn't make her any weak on the other. She is a powerful person there. Be careful. Of course, Deputy Commissioner Warren Clark, Assistant Commissioner Mackenzie, and of course the Assistant Commissioner responsible for St. Andrew North, young Mr. Chris Phillips, one of our fine young officers who have demonstrated the new Jamaica consular forces emerging here. They are in today's world in Jamaica planning how to deal with the criminal miscreants, and it's widely represented one of the toughest areas as an area. St. Catherine North and St. Catherine South. And maybe, despite the challenge in St. Andrew North, is one which is maybe let's say the nicer area for it. But he measures up the job very well, and we're good to be here today to add to your assets, Mr. Phillips. a new police station. Of course, our partner, Mr. Martin Miller and his team from National Housing Trust is here, involved in part of the reorganization, rebuilding of the Constable Force facilities under the program Rebuild Overall and Construct the Rock program, which we designed to bring about a transformation in the police facilities. The candidate caretaker for this year, Ms. Joan Gordon-Webley, who this year, and of course I should make a special mention of, Ms. Jacqueline Johnson who is part of the project team. I mentioned Mr. Martin Miller's team, but I know we have pulled her all over the country trying to get police stations built. You sent her all over the country. I told her that we're not allowed to go up on the Blue Mountain hillside again on our own steam. But we thank them for the effort to work with the entire team. To the many men and women of the Jamaica Constable Force, this morning we are here to open another police station. And this, from my time and jurisdiction, is 9 police stations I'm opening. It's not the 9 we built. We started out in Shady Grove.
I am Jimena Castro, and I provide luxury concierge services.
And the Buff Bay Station, and a number of others I will allude to at a later stage. Because coming here today is a restatement of our commitment to ensure we provide the Jamaica Constable Force with the resources and the facilities required to provide a safe environment for the Jamaican people. It's a commitment we gave, it's a policy decision we made, and in fact ensure that we not only made a policy decision and a statement, a manifesto statement, but provided the budget and organized the partnership to in fact effect transformation in the Jamaica Constable Force. And there is no doubt or question about the impact we have had and the character of the police force today. The same men and women, but with better resources, leadership and training, we see a constable force that we can all be proud of. The numbers speak for themselves. As I looked at the most recent numbers of 19 police divisions, there is 17 are way below last year. 17 of our 19. And the 2 were 2 small ones. Portland normally has 8 or 9. And 1 ahead this year because of a lead seat over there. And St. Mary the same thing. So in fact, total as outlined by the police, and it bears repeating, the police force today has given Jamaica a 42.1% reduction in homicide rate. A remarkable achievement in numbers, given where we are coming from, and they deserve the full commendation of the country. People they serve, but we want to assure them that the government is committed to continue supporting effort of the police. We are at a good point, but the job is not complete. There's more to be done, and if I have said at the beginning that we open a balance sheet, it's a good time to look at it, and it's not just because election time, and which is part of our process, but I want to remind those who are listening beyond this audience, and the officers here would know, when we took the decision to build a new station in Savamar, it was my 3rd month in office in 2018, because the condition of that police station was just atrocious. And we are now building a police station, an area headquarters for the cost of about $2.4 billion, if I recall correctly. Just $2.8 billion. The kind of investment never before seen in the police force, especially for building. But I'll allude to again, but I walked in there very early, and here was one of the parishes with the highest murder rate in the island. And the men and women who were in there working, I think one lady twisted her ankle because her shoes fell through the floor when she was to the work. Fact. So it's not a matter of, and the commissioner well aware of the lady. She was a member of the CIB, and the Criminal Investigation Division, which was dealing with nearly 100 homicides, were operating on a veranda of the old-style colonial buildings, wooden floor, of course, and she fell through the floor because the floorboards were broken. The second station I visited, instead, after I spoke to him, and I said, what I said to him, I may have to stop visiting stations like this, because when we went in there, then assistant commissioner, the superintendent in charge. Mr. Griffiths, was it? That's Stuart. Yeah, the tall gentleman. And to go into his office, he had to bend down and go like a dunce being sent to a cubicle. I said, and I couldn't go up behind him. And I said to the commissioner, we'll have to tear down this one too. And I'm sure where the money is coming from. But today we have started a new air headquarters in St. Catherine. They like to become a divisional headquarters. A divisional headquarters like to become a air headquarters. We look at some reorganization in a forward-looking way at a cost of about 2.3 billion as well. All committed to ensure that our police officers have the kind of associate quality station that they can function from. Station built for purpose. Police officers are professionals. They're expected to do a professional job to maintain peace and good order and protect the citizens, and therefore they must have facilities that reflect professional status. When we are building a clinic, we build a clinic for doctors. You know, that's just a fact of life. When they want to manufacture a product, we build a factory related to the product. When they want an office for a bank, we build a bank with the appropriate facilities. Police officers should have that. The old way of finding a building, old or new, painting it blue and white as this is a police station is past history, and I'm glad for that, and I come in. I mentioned a few of the stations we have opened. The nine, Shady Grove, Port Antonio, early days. Bay, Buff Bay, La Covia, Tuesday next week we open Anchovy in St. James. And in construction, there are another 6. Well, Little London should be open very soon. And there are another 6 stations that citizens, as we address them, may be wondering what's happening. They are not disappearing because of the timing or anything. Amity Hall in St. James, which is one which was the most frightening place to see police operating from. I never forget the day I went there again. They stand out because the early days when I was still learning about the police, and the gentleman was eating lunch outside under a tree. Well, it was cool. It's a bad idea. But then I realized the reason he was out there is that we sat on the desk because it's a small rural station, so they're out of a former colonial pay station, and you would get some additional protein from the roof as the chichi would fall off. So while it might have been good protein, it's not appropriate for consumption at lunchtime. Right? And this was a kind of repeating activity. We have settled that. They have a temporary station now built from, it was acquired by the police, temporary station, properly attired in terms of design like those containers, but not that. It was imported, and they have it functioning from there. It's safe, it's clean, but we're building a new station. The land for Granville is in procurement. The K Valley station is pretty advanced in the public investment appraisal process. So is Bull Bay, Mocha in Clarendon, and the Savamar station, not the divisional headquarters, which will be reviewed. There are another 35 stations that has had 35 stations that have had significant overhaul, literally reconstructed from base like Bogwalk, etc. We have had so many. We have had some challenge more with contractors because the ministry has had significant improvement itself, and I have to commend Delora Simpson. We were a ministry that was spending zero. You might say we moved from being a sidewalk vendor and take over a supermarket. And it took a little while for the professionals to adapt to the new situation, ensure that the quality was maintained, the standards there, and even the procurement process to ensure that we had contractors who not only meet the qualification by paper, but in terms of their practice, so we could in fact ensure and monitor their performance effectively. That was part of the challenge we faced initially, and in fact this was very early. We had to create a subcommittee, not just on the chief technical director, a procurement capital expenditure committee. Our budget moved from small numbers, and today we can say we have spent over $90 billion in the security forces. The Ministry of National Security oversees both the Jamaica Defense Force and the Jamaica Conservative Force. The objectives, of course, stated not only in the manifesto, but a policy that we articulated very early was to build out the security forces, to give them the resources and the capacity to deal with the violent gangs that plague the country. And we feel comfortable that we have got to that level. The government's role, of course, is to provide resources. We expanded the force. the commissioner was instructed and not instructed but informed that he could recruit, and we were able to continue recruiting through COVID. Until today, we are at just over 14,000 men and women in the Jamaican Constable Force, just about 14,000. So we recruited enough to replace that we're losing by attrition, and also add to the force. We noticed some interest, and we saw smile that prior to that recruiting process, there was a view that the police was understaffed because men were retiring. But the fact of life, if you recruit 500 people, 500 must retire. They reach retirement age. But this was highlighted in our number of media space and opinion leadership that because men were retiring, because the conditions of the force were so that they would not stay. Well, that is true. The fact is just it's a fact of attrition, just attrition. I should have recognized, of course, I didn't see, I've just seen the Jamaica Police Federation. There's Sergeant McBean and other team members you referred to earlier, who provides a certain leadership in the force as well, effective leadership from the welfare side. But we expanded the force first, and the commissioner and his team and the federation members worked together to adjust training and build the character of the force. That is not a political process, and this minister does not interfere in that. They set up a promotional system that is merit-based, based on training, review. They are responsible for deployment while we provide the resources. And that's what we have done to take to this point and figure we are at a point where we could consider we're at a tipping point. The facility today will remind you daily of a new facility to remind the policeman of the country's value, of his country, the value the country places on him and his work in the system. To take him out of his home and put him in a stage where he doesn't have proper sanitary facility and tell him to protect you out there in your home is certainly almost an insult to the officer. And that was the mission we set out, and I think the police has responded well and effectively. And more remarkable that they have done so in Jamaican leadership. The other time when another government in place imported some individuals who in fact were responsible for the legacy of bad policing. And I say more on that, quite frankly. To be brought here to correct the police force and speak of fixing it. Where they didn't fix it, the homicide rate still went up. Today we can take pride in the fact we have a team of Jamaican police officers leading the police force from commissioner to constable who are capable, bright, and responsible. I'm not saying they're perfect, never said that, and they won't say that either. I'm not saying they're not fine about it, but they have an internal system which monitors the quality professionally and ethically, and I have every confidence they can maintain that professionalism and will keep the country safe. It's early days, it's a year, 2 years, but I think they'll only get better. Other items I had mentioned in our development to show that we're not only fixing police stations, provide communication, provide motor vehicles, provide technological support. The forensic pathology suite we opened a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people are fascinated by what they saw on TV for a forensic suite, which looked better than some of the new hospitals. That's a fact of life, but it's an important element because that's where you get evidence that is not questionable. So it cannot be contaminated by anything if you're going to go to court, because when you have a homicide case, a murder, you have to make sure when they get a conviction, you're sure of your verdict. And that's what we set up doing, set up one of the finest Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine in the Western Hemisphere. So this government has demonstrated without any doubt we are committed to the safety of people, we are committed to provide a considerable force which is capable of dealing with the criminal elements that continue to plague our society. A total of well over 191 police stations were impacted. I mentioned the one built new, the one being constructed, and those that we have had major repairs on, but in fact we did impact all stations because we want to set some minimum standards. For example, we thought it's not fully implemented, but we removed the concept of a guard room for the reception area. It's a professional space. It's a reception area not only for complainants, but anybody who have an interest in talk to the police and issues to be dealt with, because we have there are law enforcement agencies for peacekeeping and maintaining law and order, not just to hear complaints of violence or other critical issues. So we amended and in place a welcome area for reception here. If you look at the new station, you walk in there, it's spacious, there's a bathroom nearby, and if there has to be a discussion, every station has, even a small station, has an interview room that the client can go and discuss with the police officer. And we're in the bigger station, not only one interview room, but the CIB has their own space. And in fact, we have a number of stations now with domestic violence centers where you have domestic issues, and especially violence. They can retreat and have discussion in those areas. The move, as I said, we are ensuring we provide resources to ensure the police force will lead themselves into the 21st century as a professional body capable of dealing with the Jamaican problem that we have inherited. But I made a comment before, and I'm going to expand on it because I think it's important to say it here in an audience of this sort and to the country. Over the years, it was always one of the things I found with police when I got there. Everybody have a solution to police problem. Policing is a professional activity. And if anybody telling me how I must treat my patient when I was practicing medicine. Now that I tell our Dr. Dunwell, and sure when you went to her as our outstanding dermatologist, nobody will call Dr. Dunwell and say, Dr. Dunwell, you think you should treat her with that, you should give her this ointment. But yet, everybody was telling the police what to do, how to operate. Among that, of course, a fallacy that the police was essentially a force of men out there to brutalize poor Jamaicans. That was what was being sold. And maybe, in fact, it's a legacy that was created by those who started the police force, the colonial authorities. I remember in the early force, no Jamaican could be anything more than an deputy inspector. Yeah, there could be an inspector, nothing more. The officers were all non-Jamaicans, and that didn't change until the early 60s after independence. So the legacy built up was this kind of force. And they were given a baton, and this would be big brawny men. Mr. Spitz might not have made a grade, and he's too small. Right? Too smart. So he wouldn't have made a grade. And that's what they set out, though. Indicom was created to look at some of the charges there. And we have a pretty reasonable and competent director, Mr. Vaughan, who's a lawyer. But it's an institution. And within an institution at the early days, others were sent here to tell us how we should investigate our police officers. In a democracy, nothing is wrong with having an independent body look at what is done by the police. They are subject to the law like anybody else in the society. And they have to carry out a job within the legal framework. But the missive that our police officers are out there shooting down people willingly is wrong, it's a lie, and we must not tolerate it. And the officers in the Indicom who perpetrate that mission, who have some heritage from UK, come from a country which set the stage. That mission, we have changed that philosophy. We have changed it by the policy and the person we have carried out. And the men and women of this police force is not involved in anything of that activity. And I find it very annoying, and look at that people are still buying that message. And my comment today is very simple. Deputy Commissioner is here representing the Commissioner and his team of officers. Nobody in the society, at any level, whether press, judiciary, priesthood, or otherwise, have the right to instruct the police in operation. Absolutely nobody. They are law enforcers. If they breach, they will be investigated. But nobody have the right to instruct them how to perform their operation. And when they were having no resource and falling apart in the police stations, everybody was telling them what to do. Now that they have got the resources, they have organized themselves. Not me. The commissioner, the leading officers, have structured a force that is successfully leading the fight against crime, which means operationally and intelligence and community wide and all other aspects of policing. They are doing well and doing it right by their judgment as security officers. We cannot have any and everybody telling them how to operate. Body cameras is part of the police equipment. Body cameras is part of the police equipment. Therefore, their deployment is the responsibility of the police. Indicom is an independent body. they have no right to tell the police how to police. And they don't have the skill set to do it. What they're supposed to do is investigate where there's a perceived error. And if the police interferes with in their investigation, the police will be held accountable. And that is what they should do. And nobody interferes with their operation. And they have better crime scene condition than the police. The report this morning, the police found a decomposed body in some shack somewhere in the hills of St. Catherine or St. Mary, wherever it was. They have to go there, first tolerate all what is there, and I have done post-mortem in my early days in practice. It had been in 2, 3, 4, 5 days dead. They have to tolerate all the activities surrounding it, from the decay and the smell, etc. Identify the body, then try to decide when that person died, from where they come from, how they died, and then investigate them, make a case. And they have done so, and done so successfully. An income officer comes to a fresh crime scene clean, because the police can do nothing before the income come. They find the police officer not going anywhere. He's there until he was among those who were shooting. He has the firearm. The scene can be taken. This is where the men were. They're still there. And they have all the requirements for investigation provided firsthand, and being assisted by the police who were involved as well, without any prejudice. And that I can say openly, anywhere in the mix, there is no interference in the ability of Indicom to investigate any case. They have no right to tell me how to run the operation. And I make it strongly this morning, because just last week we had a couple of cases recently which I have to note. But there's a major case on Jackson Road. And it happened at a time when there was some significant activity in St. Catherine North, a tough division. Anybody accept that from any part of the society, whether church, non-government organization, political, from either side? St. Catherine has some tough zones. They still have some of the most active gangsters in Europe. The assistant commissioner who was there has a big job on his hands. But we all know that there are men and women out there, men in particular, who are not afraid to shoot. And they shoot police officers, and they shoot police officers' family. Right? So you cannot go in there with sheepskin gloves and rubber truncheons if you're going to fight that kind of criminal. So that's happened. And the first that came out of that news article, that there's great concern that in the last 3 days there have been 12 homicides by police. I mean, that kind of comment I find quite frankly irresponsible. Because the situation at Jacksonville, and I'm gone beyond my time, I've closed my script, but I think I have to say this one. Nobody has yet come out and pointed out that the operation at Jacksonville was one of the finest pieces of police work on any situation in any country. 7 years ago, nobody would have even thought. In fact, if the informant went to the police and said, look, some gunmen up in Jacksonville, the police officer might have said to them, what are you talking about? And nobody would expect to find bad men hanging out in, gunmen of a hard type hanging out on Jacksonville Road. But among the reasons the police may have been hesitant, in that they don't think a man could make up there, But at that time, the officer in charge might have said, well, I had 3 murders in South St. Andrew last night, and I have 2 in Spanish. The ACP have wondered, well, I have a deployment men down there, so. And he wouldn't have the vehicle to send up to Jackson Road either. Much more to go pay attention to investigate. So it's a reflection of the improved efficiency and the quality of policing we have, and should be commended, not to cast aspersion that maybe the police is going overboard and attacking criminals. I think it's unfortunate, and I say it publicly and repeat it wherever I go, that commenting in that way at that time was not a reasonable comment, and not one that is encouraging to a police force still faced with high levels of crime and violent individuals. Individuals who pull the trigger to kill, and when they point the gun at the police, they're not hoping to make noise around the police, they hope to kill them. Fortunately, our police are better trained, better equipped, and will take them out when they engage them. And I have no apology for that. Better way. But that, I said, reflected a level of improved intelligence, better equipment, trained officers, and they went and executed an effective operation against some hardened criminals. And the process have identified somebody who may be associated with organizing it, because that's the next phase. It's an ongoing phase. Finding the killers has proved very effective by the police, and because they have the intelligence, they are equipped, and as the commissioner said, a policy of focused deterrence, which means getting the right intelligence, identifying the killers, and going after them and tracking them down. But there are also a few behind it who organizes the killers, who seek to engage young men and divert them into criminality. And I want to say from this platform, the police is aware of them. They know some of them. They think they're smart and they stay far from the trigger. They do. But when they catch them, we'll get sustainability and a low crime rate when we get rid of them out of the society. And I'm very confident that this commissioner and the team of police officers will find them, apprehend them, and prosecute them as necessary to take them out of the society and rid the society of that kind of person today. I have to emphasize, okay, see, if those 5 criminals had gotten away to go anywhere in Zaxhill, murder 2 or 3 people, raid a supermarket, and the other thing, it's to have raised questions about the ability and the success of the police over the last how many months. So that particular operation has to be commended and should be seen in that light after the quality of police that we have. There are many other incidents in the last few months I could allude to. They have been finding cache of firearms all over. 1 month ago, Intratech 9, 5 machine gun, 5 pistols, and elsewhere. And a daily report every week, I see some of this, which tells you that the police not only have good intelligence, but have won the confidence of, increased confidence of the community. That kind of intelligence only comes from community. I say it emphatically because we're not getting a lot of claims on Crime Stop and rewards. It's intelligence work that the men are getting and are finding the criminals who are that desperate and want to damage society. So today, opening the station is for me a further satisfaction. And my pleasure to be part of a team that has led this transformation in the security forces. We are early on, they said it's 3 years, but I think we are reaching the point of what we'd call that's a no return. I've said to the officers from time to time, my interest is to ensure that this is so institutionalized that no one can reverse the trend. Never again will the police force accept the quality of station they used to operate in without motor vehicles, a radar system that couldn't work. We make a laugh with it, but there's a problem. Police cars beside a crime scene, they call the radar, there's no radar and it stays yet it's executed. The police car from a mile away is coming to intercept at that point. We have changed that, and I want to assure the commissioner it has changed permanently. We're in the process of not only building out additional police stations and divisional headquarters that are new and more appropriate. We are completing the technological review. The C5 center will be in place. It's being put in place now, and we'll build out. And let me conclude back on what I made my opening comment of this section. We have acquired body cameras for the police, and we are acquiring more. But I want to remind the public, because it's a time when they listen. When you talk, when things are normal, but everybody wants if I say something that they can highlight, and it's somewhere for being too positive. But when the pressure got the police to wear body cameras, the uniforms they wore could not carry body cameras. Let me repeat that. For those of you who are civilians behind here, who might have supported that, they were beating on the poor police to wear body cams. But the uniform, those candy stripe shirts couldn't carry body cameras. And the police officer, in fact the president commissioner, was very involved when he got his appointment in charge of logistics and support. Did research and got this design, the uniform, this is not just the color, but designed to carry all the modern equipment that police were to carry. This police commissioner, who did the research, and with his officers identified the design of the uniform that they are wearing today that can carry all the required accoutrements of a police officer. Am I right? Am I right, Mr. Stewart? They showed it to me and I finished the research. It took time. So they went and did the research to respond. Nobody who was beating up on them, like there were school kids, rude school kids, would even take time to understand that it was just not appropriate. Those candy stripe uniforms which we have abandoned And a part of the legacy, thank God we have got rid of it, was could not carry a camera. And today, those 700 deployed among primarily Assistant Commissioner Mackenzie team, the public safety and transport team. And I wish to on this note, when last have you seen a viral video with policeman and a taximan that squabble like two rude kids in the back of the schoolyard? It's a past history. When last have you seen a policeman, a crowd surrounded by people who want cussing him and everything about him, wrapping the national flag in all kind of colors? It don't happen. No way. Not only the police have won better trust, that's true, do a stronger job, but they have cameras. They said we deploy cameras with improved engagement and interest with the citizens. That's why they get information from the police, because they're not fighting with each other. And that is the first purpose of the camera, is to ensure that citizens know that if they interfere, the police has duty. It is put on camera. You know, somebody take a little picture from a corner and portray this mischief across and make the police look like they're out there to brutalize people. And the police are aware of that. So when a policeman stop a taximan on the camera, everything is smooth and nice. Officer, what happened today, sir? All right. Punch up him ticket on an automatic machine and give him his thing and him gone with business. No argument. That's what cameras are for, is to improve the operational structure. I'd ask anybody, though, what does a camera do for operation in the bush of St. Catherine when they are faced with hardcore gunmen, or within a house in Jacksonville with men behind windows shooting at each other? You may put my police officer at risk, and I won't tolerate that one. That's when I interfere, because when you put a young police officer, maybe fully trained, he can shoot bullseye 10 times straight, but he feels so nervous because somebody come telling him shoot a man for the wrong reason. Him stand up to show off him camera to take a picture and then shoot him in the head. Who went to talk to his mother? Look, this foolishness must stop. And I want to say, nobody have the privilege or right to instruct the police officers in operation matters. That's the responsibility of the commissioner and his team of highly competent officers who I have every confidence in. And my responsibility, wider public responsibility, is to see that they're provided resources to carry out their fact. In addition to that response to resources, I have to ensure the legislation is brought to bear that is relevant and important in effect in dealing with some of the modern criminal activity and in gangs. That is our response as public office, and it will be carried out as best we can. Today again, let me close by commending all those involved in getting the station to where it is. It looks like a police station, a place where men and women can work effectively. It's my particular pleasure to be here to open it with my Minister of State. I knew her, I won't say how long, but I knew when she was still a fit, active athlete, but not yet. But I stopped running, still fit and active, and she has been a tremendous support in the ministry. She deals with the correctional side and the social intervention side very effectively, very concerned about that, and it was my privilege to say to her, I will open your station at this point in time. Good to be here today, and to the men and women who will occupy it, Mr. Phillips as commanding officer for the entire area, and Mr. Sweeney, I think, the commander for the division. I wish you all well. I know you're doing an excellent job. Keep it up. You have the total support of this minister while I'm in the seat to carry out your job effectively and well. We have come a long way. We have a further to go, and other activities to be done, and we're working in all areas to ensure we can maintain peace, good order, and a society which provides the foundation we can build a healthy and prosperous society. Again, thank you very much. I hope I wasn't too long, but I think I had a mission for my minister today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I did announce that we will have a slight shift to our program. So at this point, I will invite Mr. Kahim Brevitt to give us a very brief musical interlude, and he will be then followed by the Custos Emeritus of St. Andrew, Dr. Patricia Dunwell, who will deliver the vote of thanks. Mr. Brevitt?
Good day, everyone.
Morning, everyone. Let me first acknowledge and say thanks to our MC for taking us through this morning in such a smooth way. Thank you. Honorable Dr. Horace Chan, Deputy Prime Minister, and of course the Minister for our national security. Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, our MP in West Rural St. Andrew, and State Minister in the National Security Ministry. Mrs. Gordon Webley, I'm not seeing her, but I know she's somewhere in the crowd. opposition caretaker for West Rural St. Andrew. Mr. Richard Stewart, Deputy Commissioner, and all the other assistant commissioners and police officers that we have present here this morning. Custis Ian Forbes, Mr. Alex Bernard from the National Housing Trust, Father Oniga. Citizens of Stony Hill and surrounding districts, good morning again. Today is a good day. Today is a blessed day for Stony Hill and surrounding communities. On the 24th of February, 2022, I was privileged to be present on this ground with the breaking of the ground for the construction for this modern police station. And I'm really very happy and pleased to be here again to see the work finished, and it's overwhelming. Minister, on behalf of the citizens of Stony Hill and surrounding areas, I would like to say a special thanks to you. When I listen to you speaking, I wonder whether you are a medical doctor or a police officer, because you sound so much like a police officer. You speak with passion. So I think you should change your profession and go in the force. Join them. I am very proud of what you have done in the police force, not only now, not only recently, but for the many years, and is across the island. We are very proud of your performance, sir. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we have an MP in West Rural St. Andrew, our Cuthbert Flynn. I can tell you that sometimes I have to call her and say to her, pace yourself, because we have claimed her as the hardest working MP in Jamaica. In Jamaica. She cares for our people. Advocacy, advocacy, advocacy. So it's not only police stations, but clinics, the roads. I won't go into it. It will be too long. So thank you, Minister, for all the work that you're doing for us. We appreciate it. So on behalf of all the citizens, I say thanks to you. I'm going to say a special thanks to the police officers of Stony Hill, because for several years, they have endured the hardship of working in a little space across the road. And I'm really very happy. They were patient. Thanks for your patience and your endurance, all the police officers. Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Richards? Richards? Stewart, Mr. Stewart, sorry about that. And all the other commissioners, thanks. Thanks, Mr. or Deputy Commissioner, for delivering all that wonderful detailed statistics. You know, it gives us hope. It tells us that we are going somewhere. And in extension, I say thanks to all the 14,000 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force for decreasing the crime rate in Jamaica. I can tell you that it is known all over the world. And I was told at the last conference of Caribbean leaders in Montego Bay, they were planning to adopt whatever methods be used in Jamaica in the police force, and that is great. In Jamaica, we are blessed that whenever we have an important function, we make sure we invite the presence of God. And our Father Onigan is always ready to do this. So we thank you for doing that for us. To the counselor who is representing the mayor, thanks for your message. Thanks for your collaboration, your cooperation. And for Mr. Bernard from the National Housing Trust. I was very impressed when I heard that there's collaboration between the Security Ministry and the National Housing Trust. When we collaborate, when we cooperate, we achieve much. So I commend the National Housing Trust for its collaboration, cooperation, and what it has done. Now the musicians, I'm proud to be a Jamaican. I'm very proud to be a Jamaican. When I sit and I listen to the entertainers this morning, the young lady, Benjamin, and Mr. Rivet, I say we have hope. Jamaica is a great place with great talent, and we must believe that. So thank you very much to the entertainers. To the citizens of Stony Hill and the surrounding districts, thanks for being here this morning. I hope we will all, as citizens of Stony Hill, collaborate with the police officers, give them all the support that they need so that Stony Hill and the surrounding districts can become the most peaceful and law-abiding area in this country of Jamaica. To all others who are here, I say thanks for your presence. And in closing, God bless you all, and God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Thank you, Dr. Dunwell. And I also want to extend my thanks to Mr. Brevitt for that beautiful rendition of You Raise Me Up. Ms. Johnson, we could say that it is dedicated to the station, right? Looking at how the NHT would have torn down the previous structure and raised this one up in its place to do way more than what the previous structure could have facilitated, yes? So we'll dedicate that song to the Stony Hill Police Station. Now, before we officially close, I'd like to give some instructions to the party that will be taking part in the tour of the facility. At the very end of it, I'd like to invite the following persons to join the Acting Superintendent of Police, Joel Hamilton, for the official ribbon cutting, blessing of the police station by Father Honeygan, and then the tour. They are Ministers Chang and Cuthbert Flynn, CTD Simpson, Mr. Byron Clark, Mr. Alex Bernard, Dr. Dunwell, the Honorable Ian Forbes, and Mr. Martin Miller, and Father Honeygan as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen? So as we bring the official program to a close, I want us all to remember that what we're here for today is not just the opening of a building. What we are looking at is a promise of better service, safer communities, and a more secure Jamaica. So I'd like to thank you all, adding to what Dr. Dunwell had said, yes, I'd like to thank you all for being a part of this historic event, and may this facility serve its purpose as a source of strength and protection for the community of Stony Hill and all the surrounding communities. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Walk good.
Thank you.